for the most part, like, this is not something a non-medical individual can do on their own, and it's not something a nurse can do on their own. This is like you have to have home health experience. Even though the accreditation is expensive, and at first it's like, well, I gotta pay $12,000 to practice for you, to prove to you that I can do it. I'm appreciate having this, because for the goals that I have set, this to me was the best path to achieve those goals. She has a group home and she's a hospital nurse, but just because she has that experience doesn't mean that she knows home health agency. So basically everything is siloed, and yes, some of the skills overlap and transfer, but some of them don't. On TV, on Grey's Anatomy, you go to the doctor and the doctor they look at you and be like, this is what you need, here's the whole plan, and this is how we're going to save your life. In real life, that don't happen, because ultimately you are their customer and they have to serve you, where I think we're conditioned to think the doctor is the leadership and we have to do as we're told by the doctor. The doctor don't give a fuck about you. They don't know who you are. You are one of however many they're seeing that day. And you have to remember that. So if you're medical now and you're within the hospital system where that doctor is the end all be all, if you come out of that and you decide to do a medical home, you have to change your mentality 100%, because they will fail you every time, and you will not be providing the best care for your patients. Turn the f***ing camera on.
You look kind of cute, you know that? You need some water for all that talking you did?
No, but is you recording? Let me get this out of my system. She finna earn every bit of her consulting dollar, because it's supposed to be like a once a week call. We're supposed to be doing stuff, and it's a once a week call for her to review it and call her editors. I'm like, no. We're gonna every day. You're gonna show us how to do it step by step exactly, though we don't know. So I need maximum hand holdage. Okay? Every day. At 5 in the morning, we wanna get up every day at 5 a.m. We go say, okay, whatever we gotta do. Because I need you to tell me step by step exactly what is to happen. This is a lot of work for something I don't know what I'm gonna do with.
You know what you're gonna do with it.
I don't. I have no idea. I don't know the how or the what yet.
What was the everything that she showed you? You talked about step by step.
What we're doing is the Oasis documentation for the nurse's assessment. So the nurse came to the house to do the admission visit for the patients for the home health agency. And then she has like a 3-hour assessment that has to be completed. And it has to be completed to the specific order of their admission. And so because we're all in group home world, the hard part is just constantly reminding the nurse to separate it. Like, okay, this is not your group home patient. So all those details that you know about what he's experiencing at the group home, you're not putting. This is your home health agency patient, and this is the order for home health agency, and this one thing that's on the order is all we're doing and what's relevant to the assessment. But it's a lot of details. And if you've never done home health, when you're reading those questions, like let's say you came from the hospital is a more is better. They're going to check every box. They're going to put a very robust plan of care. Basically, they're going to say, we're going to do everything under the sun for you while you're here, and we're going to bill for all that. Mm-hmm. In home health, you can only put what you're actually doing, because it's not like you have 24-hour access to that patient while you're there. You have access to them for the time that you have come to the home to do that visit. So all you can do is what you can realistically do. So it's not like hospital. It's more like less is more in this case. What specifically are you doing? And can you actually achieve during these visits? Okay, only put that. Do not overpromise. Hospital makes a lot of overpromising. But just for the most part, like this is not something a non-medical individual can do on their own, and it's not something a nurse can do on their own. This is like you have to have home health experience to be able to fill this out right, to pass that, what do they call it? Edit. What are they doing when they come back?
The assessment that the agency is
No,
doing?
the final inspection for CHAP. So there's no way me and any team of nurses I had would have gotten this form filled out right without her holding our hand and walking us through every single thing step by step. Now, we still haven't got through the first client yet. We've been working on this for 4 days, but we're only having like a call at a time, and it'll take a total of like 3 hours. So once we get this one patient done, because his like diagnosis and order is pretty much identical to everybody else, we'll be able to complete the rest. But it's a lot of stupid steps. Let's move on. What you want from
A lot of steps, and that's 3 hours per client.
Yeah. Just the admission part. And then there are all these rules, like you get the order from the doctor, and within 48 hours of having the order from the doctor, the nurse has to do the admission visit. And then within 10 days of the admission visit, the nurse has to finalize the Oasis documents, create the plan of care, and have that submitted. So it's learning all that stuff now, which is how you would have to use it in practice. But even though the accreditation is expensive, and at first it's like, well, I got to pay $12,000 to practice for you, to prove to you that I can do it, I'm appreciate having this. Because let's say they gave me that agency and I didn't know how to do none of this shit. You know how ass backwards I would have been until I ever got audited, and then having to pay back all the things that I billed for wrong. So it sucks to cough up that upfront cash and all the steps they make you go through, but you need it, because it's basically like, I'm going to give you a year to go to school. I'm going to force you to go to school for a year. And then in 12 months, you get your final exam. So it's necessary. It's stupid, but it's absolutely necessary. Because somebody like me who waits to the last minute, I would have screwed myself.
So the consultant is showing her value 10 times over.
For sure. Now, if you had started this and you used your full 12 months and you started in month 1, and you if you are a nurse and you come from a home health background, this is going to be a lot easier for you, because you should already be familiar with filling out that paperwork. You could also have worked at a home health agency that uses this particular software, so you didn't have to learn to use the software. Like, everything I do, I have to start from ground zero and learn the history, the middle of it, the future, like learn all the parts and how to do it, and learn it well enough to be able to train a nurse or a staff person on how to do it. So that's why you get up at 5 in the morning, to create time in your day to do that stuff. And it's hard, but it's not that hard. It's a choice. I could be asleep right now, but I chose to do this, and so I'm going to create the time to do it.
And I think that anyone at any experience level would have their challenges, especially when you consider working in your business. Like, you're working on your business, right? But you still have elements within the business to tackle. And so it's just a learning and growing pain regardless.
Yeah, and I don't recommend it. Again, save yourself. Don't do it. Don't. But for the goals that I have set, this to me was the best path to achieve those goals. And it's not that bad. If you chose to do it, and this is what you wanted to do, it doesn't feel that bad, because it's something you want. You're intrinsically motivated. You'll be driven to do it, blah, blah, blah. If this is just it sounds good, let me, play with it. This is not one of them things. We're still, what are we, 3 years in? And then there's a new piece to add on, and I'm sure after we get through this, there's gonna be a whole nother piece. It's like a never-ending rabbit hole of darkness.
AKA entrepreneurship, an unending
Basically.
problem solving endeavor, right?
Yeah.
You said you said that the nurse has specific experience in group home and hospital, but that experience was not relevant to the home healthcare process, and that the consultant had to rework some things and give you guys a lot of guidance. Can you talk
Yeah,
about that
because
previous conversation?
so the nurse that we use for our assessment is she has a group home and she's a hospital nurse. But just because she has that experience doesn't mean that she knows home health agency. So basically everything is siloed. And yes, some of the skills overlap and transfer, but some of them don't. So having a consultant that is specific to home health agency is absolutely necessary. No matter how tenured or skilled my RN is, if she hadn't filled out Oasis from the mindset of home health agency, it ain't gonna happen. Hospital don't translate to home health.
Oasis. Can you talk about what that is, how you selected it?
I didn't choose it. Oasis is the system that Medicare uses. So when you have to bill for services rendered to Medicare, Oasis is their platform. And again, Google that
It's
because
their clear.
I just know it's called Oasis, but I can't give you an intelligent description of what it is. But that is the system that they use for you to input all of your information and submit for billing. Google it.
So it's their clearinghouse, like the Medicaid. What's the Medicaid version that we use now?
I don't know.
You don't remember.
Like,
You literally just billed last night and you don't know.
I don't know. It's Medicaid. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know a lot of stuff. But that doesn't stop me from doing it. And figuring it out as I go along.
I think that's what it's all about. Yesterday we were talking about some of the health improvements that we've recognized with all
Remember
the
we
boys.
said you was gonna sit next to me and we was gonna do this together?
You said
You
I
got
never
what you
said
got. You
that.
get bits and pieces. Now, if you want to talk to me, you're gonna talk with
Stop.
me.
We are talking,
And this
okay?
is dumb. Don't nobody want to watch this with me just sitting here
You're
and being
beautiful.
ass
Everybody want to watch you. I want to watch you, and that's
No,
all I
this is
care
a
about. I don't care.
reality
It is, and this
show.
is our reality, okay? The camera needs to be
Come
pointed
into
on
the
you.
reality.
Yesterday, we talked about some of the health improvements that our boys have undergone. Can you go through from patient A to patient Z, the condition they came in, and how we've been intentional about improving their health outcomes?
I'm trying not to flip out. I'm gonna do this, but I don't want to do this like this. So you will need to do it over again, okay?
Okay.
Reality show. That's the reality show. We need to be happy.
This is our reality.
In the reality.
You're
This
in the
is boring
foreground.
reality.
I am in the background just doing all the other work. This is the reality. Stop fighting me. Let's go.
We're gonna have to do this again, okay? And I'm hungry now.
Okay.
I gained 9 pounds.
Hey. Who is that?
Oh, don't say his name.
Patient number
Patient number 3.
who had the crisis placement.
I'm gonna say it. Patient number 3, who we went through the crisis process with and got moved in June. He came at about 51 pounds as a 30-year-old male with severe constipation and fecal impaction. Look at me with my medical terminology. Like eye irritation and a leaking G-tube site. For the most of it, no bad sore, or maybe one little pressure wound. And it's June, how many months? 6 months later, he has no eye irritation any further, and he had like a behavior where he would flip his eye. He doesn't have to do that, doesn't do that anymore. And that was as simple as scheduling eye drops every 2 hours or something like that. He has a new G-tube site, so now he's able to retain all of his nutrition, and there's no leaking. He's clear and free of poop, and goes regularly, and we achieve that by adding a scheduled laxative protocol daily. And all of these things I had to come up with. So on TV, on Grey's Anatomy, you go to the doctor and the doctor they look at you and be like, this is what you need. Here's the whole plan and this is how we're going to save your life. In real life, that don't happen. The doctor comes and is like, so what do you want to do today? What are you looking for? Oh, I'm just stopping by. Everything okay? Good. And then they walk the out. So you have to know how to guide the doctor and what to tell them they need, because they're not guiding you. They're not building holistic care plans for you. You're on your own. So for my non-medical assessment of this individual and seeing the things that he had going on, I scheduled a doctor appointment and say, hey, I want to try all these things. He has an irritated eye. Maybe they're just dry. Let's put some eye drops regularly. He's full of shit, obviously. Let's do a laxative protocol, something to keep him more regular. This G-tube is leaking. Obviously, let's get a new one. This has been leaking for 10 years. That sounds like a problem. Can we get a new site? But before then, can we just put an NG tube in, because the G tube don't work? So let's put something in to get him nutrition. So the NG tube that he had for 2 months, these are all things I wanted and had to push for, because of course the hospital is like, oh, we wouldn't do that. We don't send people home with the NG, blah blah blah. He'd have to stay in the hospital for that. I'm like, no.
That's hospital property.
Yeah, no. This is what I want. Do it. Because ultimately, you are their customer and they have to serve you. Where I think we're conditioned to think the doctor is the leadership and we have to do as we're told by the doctor. The doctor don't give a about you. They don't know who you are. You are one of however many they're seeing that day. And you have to remember that. So if you're medical now and you're within the hospital system where that doctor is the end all be all, if you come out of that and you decide to do a medical home, you have to change your mentality 100%, because they will fail you every time. Every time. And you will not be providing the best care for your patients.
And patient number 3, who's to say that mom didn't try to get these services and these things done for him? But it's such an uphill battle.
The way I had to fight, if you're a mom with kids and a full-time job, you don't have time to chase these doctors every day to run back and forth. So you're going to make do, which she did. She came up with her own solutions and rigged up things to help minimize, the leakage, but it wasn't able to stop it completely. She could not fight and should not have to fight. So if you go to the doctor and the doctor looks at it and says, oh, that's not so bad, just add a couple gauze here, that's what you're going to go home and do as a parent, because you trust the medical institution. I, on the other hand, know better than to do that. They are not to be trusted. So there was a fight, legit. It took 3-4 months to get a new G-tube site. It shouldn't have. And there was a constant fight at every step, because you're explaining to one person what needs to happen, but then they're kicking it to another and another, and merry-go-round.
And nobody's reading the file. Nobody's
reading the file. You walk in the room, they're asking dumb questions like, did you not read the notes? Are you not prepared for this appointment that you've walked into? And they're not. And they're not going to, because they don't have the time to be. So that's on you. I'm the doctor now, okay?
And you got the time.
I'm the doctor and I got the time. So anyways, I'm going to take full credit. And of course, my lovely team of LPNs and CNAs who actually do the physical work. But you have to have someone to order the steps and to be willing to connect all the dots. And that's if you decide to operate your own medical group home. That's what you're going to have to be willing and able to do.
It's a knife fight. It's a fight for your life, because the system is not set up to support individuals with developmental and intellectual disabilities at all.
Or even with G-tubes. Take a G-tube to the hospital, see how far you get. One patient has a GJ. They're just picking a port and shooting it up. They don't know. They don't know.
I mean, how about the time they called us to go to the hospital to feed us?
Bring the feeding pump and supplies. I'm like, really? So you don't do that at the hospital? And they don't. So don't get sick. Stay out of the hospital because it's not a safe place for you. And I don't know if it used to be better before, and it's just this now. But
Well, that's a whole separate conversation. We can talk about the brain drain that's occurring, across
we can talk about
surgery,
that.
across nursing care. There's a huge shortage of workers, but we're not here to bash the hospital system. We're here to talk about the great work that we do in our business. Can you talk about the improvements, just real quick, that patient number 3 has experienced?
I just told you.
Okay, well, there was a big one. He was malnourished when he came in, and he now is weighing in at.
I led with he weighs 59 pounds. You wasn't paying attention.
What did he weigh when he first got there?
I led with that
I didn't see
too.
that.
I said the whole thing.
Okay, well,
He
that's
came
patient.
in as a 30-year-old male, 51 pounds. He is now 59 pounds. That's progress.
He only gained 8 pounds. You said he gained more.
No.
Okay,
8 pounds.
I apologize.
But that gain, because remember, he was pulling that G tube out, he was still having leakage. So that 9-pound gain is in the last 4 weeks. So now that all the holes are closed,
Yeah.
he's had a full 4 weeks of being able to absorb nutrition. And in that 4 weeks, he's gained 9 pounds.
Awesome. That's patient number 3. Can we talk about patient number 2 and some of the changes that we've made?
Patient two solid. He don't really have problems. He was just a little stank. You know, his stuff, his bed, his mattress, like he didn't have his wheelchair, those things were not good. He was solid. He doesn't have a lot of complications. He was okay. So we got him a new mattress. We're in the process of getting a whole new bed system all together, and we got him a new wheelchair. So those were the first things we did immediately: a new temporary mattress, new wheelchair, and now we're waiting on the bed. He has allergies and asthma, but he wouldn't let you put a nebulizer treatment on him. So we were able to get liquid albuterol to administer, which most nurses, when they see it, they're like, I didn't even know there was liquid albuterol. Well, ask the questions, right? Like, I don't know to know that don't exist or that I've never seen it. So I'm asking for everything. So if I see, oh, he won't wear the face mask, is there some other option? Is there like a liquid version? And there happened to be, where a nurse that thinks that albuterol only comes as a nebulizer treatment and there's no other option, like that's fact for her. They wouldn't even think to ask that question. So if you're non-medical, I think that's a benefit in some way, because it makes you ask questions and consider and think things that you're not trained already not to, if you're of the medical system. Patient one, he still got the same attitude. There was nothing wrong with him either. He came, he was fine. Hit or miss, he might have like some vomiting.
Coffee nemesis.
Yeah, but they can never get to the bottom of what it is, but it's minimal. He's fine. Patient number 3 was where it's at. You don't need to talk about him.
Patient
That was
number
where the
2.
work was. That's where I proved my chops. Okay? 1 and 2, they're fine.
2 had an issue when he first arrived with us. He revolted over his living conditions.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He was
It's
skittish.
bad. We talked about that already. There's a whole episode about that already. But, so when patient number 2 came, he has like this enclosed bed, really for his own protection, because he can wiggle around and move a little bit, and he'll wiggle himself right onto the floor if he was in a regular medical bed. So he has a bed enclosure. But the first night that he was there, when he went into the room for the first time, because we had him in the living room most of the day, when he went into the room the first time and saw the bed in there, he freaked out. He started hyperventilating, choking, coughing, like just completely freaking out. And we were like, oh my God, like, what has happened to you in this bed? So, of course, that's when we bought the playpen. He moved into the living room because I was like, I cannot fathom putting somebody in something that causes them to react like that. And that's when we started looking for the new bed. But then I was playing with the bed and I saw that the pads come off the side. There's a whole episode on this already. Like everything I'm saying, we already said.
Just
But anyways, go look at the episode if you want to hear that again. But now, a year later, he goes into that bed without a problem now because of the changes we made, removing the pads so that he has visibility to see out of the bed, but also not abusing it and leaving him in there all day to rot. So once he wakes up, he's out, he's in the living room with us, or he is up in his room watching TV. Like, from that reaction, it seemed like that he spent a lot more time in that bed than he cared to. Now, after a year of the bed being used for sleep only, he goes in and out of the bed with no problem, sleeps solidly with no problem. Um, so I'm happy to see that change. And we didn't do anything miraculous other than be considerate of him as a human and recognize that, like, we wouldn't want to sleep in that bed either all day. So why would we let him be in there?
Thank you. That was perfect. Would you like a sizzly?
Let me see. I can't remember.
You had to measure how many stress bumps you got. Talk about Alex.
How much bread I've been eating? I'm good. I can get If it was already starting, I would be like, it's time to stop working on this. I'm gonna take my laptop to the graduation. I'm not gonna pay attention.
Work don't stop, y'all. What graduation?
We already talked about it. Eva's graduating RN school.
Yay!
I'm not yaying for her no more. I've been yaying since June. Okay? I'm done yaying.
What month are we in now?
Take your test.
What month is it now?
It's December. I ain't yaying. I'm not yaying until she show up with a license. I'm done. We done. You got what you wanted.
I did get what I wanted.
Okay.
That was amazing.
Leave me alone now.
One last thing.
What?
From a business development standpoint, where are you in your process for some of the goals that you set out for being able to expand your financial position and secure some additional wealth building tools?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get paid, y'all. In January, I officially go on payroll. This business, I created the business August 2021, and since then, I've been putting money in. Now, January 2025, I get a check. Now, of course, the business has made money since then, but the business needed to make money. It needed to pad itself. It needed savings. And I wanted at least a year, one full year of profit before taking any money out. So I'm now at a place where I feel comfortable taking a salary, which I will begin in January. Probably small salary. I don't know. I haven't decided how I feel about myself yet. But yeah, I'm getting paid come January. So, you ain't gonna know how much I get paid, but there will be signs. There will be signs.
In 2 weeks, because January is around the corner. Don't let it fool y'all. I love that. And then we're also working on licensing house number 2, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
The city of
Ooh.
When I licensed the first house, I wasn't required to put in fire sprinklers to start. The city is now more strictly enforcing their rules. So now, just to begin, you coming out of pocket at minimum $12,000 on a fire sprinkler system.
And that's because the city is adopting the state code, and there was a lot of nuance and gray area before, and they were ignoring the state building code / fire code and blah, 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 blah. And moral of the story is things are just constantly changing.
Yeah, and now it's even harder to start. So if you've sat on the sidelines thinking about maybe possibly one day, well, one day just got a little bit further away because now you need way more money to start.
What does it always say in real estate? The best time to invest was, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
The second best time is today.
Here we go. So what was a quick process, like literally 2 days and a couple emails to get my approval from the city last time. This time it's been a lot of emails, in-person permit meetings, I got to get plans drawn. They want me to make changes to the house, and before I could even get there. So I thought I would be licensed on the second house by this year. That's not going to happen. Maybe by the end of next year. I'm also not rushing because I'm still soaking about the fact that they're making me do this stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for your time today. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve at your side as your executive assistant.
Okay.
I love and cherish our time together, boss. Signing out. Yours truly.
You ready to pick up this washing machine?
She always putting me to work, y'all. The work don't stop.